None. Okay. So what sleep disorders is anything that gets in the way of us having a good night's sleep. So can you name off a few examples of that you just know off the top of your head?
This part really isn't, but it's actually kind of funny. Like TV disorder, you watch too much TV at one time, then you don't get the sleep, it gets away.
I'm sure that's true,
It's
but that's not an official psychological one, I don't think. All right, so tell me do you know the term insomnia?
I've heard of it, but I don't know exactly what it is.
So along those lines, can you think of any more sleep disorders off the top of your head?
My dad had it. I'm trying to think what sleep apnea.
Sleep apnea is definitely one. Any more?
I don't know anymore.
Okay. You're probably going to feel silly, but sleepwalking is definitely.
That was a disorder.
It is definitely a disorder. Narcolepsy.
I've never heard of what that is.
It's okay, we'll go over it. And insomnia, sleep apnea, sleepwalking, narcolepsy. I think that's it. Let's reference real quick. And then we have, nope, those are the ones we gotta go over. Okay, so, do you know what insomnia is?
Mm-mm.
If you had to guess, what would you say it was?
I don't know, I might know something. Like, I just maybe horror stories or something that I read or something. It has to do with the brain and panicking and stuff like that. Maybe.
Kind of. That can definitely be a symptom of it. You're right that it does have to do with the brain. This is a habit of sleeplessness. So when people say they have insomnia, it means that they try to go to bed at, say, 9 p.m., but no matter what they do, they can't go to sleep. They're up at 3 a.m. wide awake, and they can't understand why. But it is definitely a sleep disorder. All right, sleep apnea. Your dad had it, so can you tell me roughly what it is?
It's when something in your throat, you can't breathe the right way at night, whichever way you turn. So sometimes you need a machine, and he actually did for a couple months.
Correct.
Have a machine on him so it could keep him from snoring and keep him from having a habit of waking up because he couldn't breathe all the time.
Perfect. So sleep apnea just is a difficulty of breathing when we're asleep. So, but it does actually interrupt our sleep. We do need often machines to correct it. Sometimes you can just switch positions, but not if it's serious. All right, sleepwalking.
You walk in your sleep.
Yes, you also do things in your sleep. So you might go get food out of the fridge or go to the bathroom all while you're asleep. So it's just activity while unconscious. Okay, so you said you've never heard of this word. Have you ever seen the movie Moulin Rouge?
Yes, once.
Do you know the Argentinian? Do you remember what happens to him?
No.
No, okay. So, little recap of the story. We see Ewan McGregor, always great, and he is meeting that troupe of the people making the play for the first time, and that guy crashes through his ceiling. Ringing any bells?
Yes.
Okay. That is because he has narcolepsy, which means he falls asleep at random times, totally out of his control. He can be awake one second and down the next. So it's falling asleep suddenly at random times.
So you could be walking down the stairs and just go to sleep.
Yep, it can be very dangerous. People can be driving their car and fall asleep. It's kind of scary. So, any questions on what they mean?
Not what they mean, but the last one.
Mm-hmm.
How often does that happen to people?
I don't think it's an extremely common thing, but it's also not never heard of. It does happen to normal people, just not quite always to such a advanced degree as they make it out in comedy skits and things like that. So why do you think we're talking about sleep disorders in psychology instead of a medicine class or something like that?
Because I feel like psychology is about the brain and behaviors that you're going through, and sleep is probably one of the reasons why your brain works the way it does.
Exactly.
So sleep is important.
So all of these things may have physical altercations or physical reasonings behind them, but they also have reasonings in the mind. The mind has something going on in it that causes these sleep disorders as well. All right, any questions on sleep disorders? Great. Okay. And the last thing we're going to talk about is things that affect our consciousness.